Hey, it's Chris here, and today I want to tell you about this thing that we're doing for the next 3 months called the 3-month app case study. Essentially, we are going to try to build an app prototype, get it launched into the store, and get our first customer in 3 months. We've already started, and this is day 5 of the experiment. I'm going to be sharing the progress and the process on YouTube and social media. But before I get into what's happened in the last 4 days, I want to tell you about why we're doing this and the motivation behind this whole experiment. You see, when I talk with the people who are learning with us, I realize that a lot of people have app ideas that they want to build that they think are going to be a great success. And, it's not enough to teach people how to build the app, but also, how they can achieve success with the app, the same success that they're imagining that they will have once it's built. But I realized that I don't have any experience in that regard. When I used to build apps for clients at my old job, we weren't invested in the outcome, and there was no emotional investment in it either. And now that I've started this process, I'm learning so many different things because it's being approached from a different perspective, right? And I realized that it is a very emotional journey. You're really invested in your idea and you really want it to succeed. And there's moments where you really don't think it's going to work. And this is just the first 4 days. So the motivation behind this, again, is a learning experience, right? So that I know what it's like to try to build a successful app. And the reason that I'm documenting everything is so that people can learn from it. And then also I can look back on it as well. And it'll be quite a journey. So I want there actually to be 2 results that come out of this. One is the actual 3-month app case study. Whether we meet our goal or not, I still think it's going to be a great case study. Lots of lessons to be learned there. But throughout that process, I also want to put together a product framework, the steps that we took to run our 3-month app case study. And since we don't know what we're doing right now, this framework is sort of a best guess, and we're proving it through the case study, and then we sort of tweak the framework as we go along. All right, so with that out of the way, let's jump into what's happened so far in the last 4 days. All right, so what are we building? What's the app idea here? So to put it succinctly, you know how there are app builders out there where you can put together an app without necessarily learning how to code. And I realize the irony here, but there are companies like BuildFire and AppyPie where you can put together an app without necessarily learning how to code. And I feel like these things are on trend because with any sort of technology or anything really, the barrier to entry is usually really high in the beginning. And then as time goes on, that barrier lowers. So I do think these app builders, low code or no code solutions are on trend. And you can kind of see the same thing happening with websites. For example, back then, it was really expensive to get a website built and not everyone had a website. And these days, it's so easy to set up. You can even set up your own, e-commerce stores with like Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, that sort of thing. And a lot of people have websites now. Hosting is a lot cheaper, so the barrier to entry has gone a lot lower. And you think about things like 3D printers. And I recently heard that in this year's CES, there was like a soft serve ice cream maker that you can buy for your home use. And you can put these pods in and you could instantly have soft serve ice cream for whatever flavor you want. So anyways, I think mobile apps will eventually get to that situation too, where you don't necessarily have to learn how to code to build one. So what is the difference between what we're doing and what these people are doing? Well, I want to do this, but for a very targeted audience. So while these companies, I think you can see here, they advertise all sorts of different apps. And my thinking is that if I target and intimately get to know one group of people, that our solution will be completely 100% tailored to their needs. And so we'll be the go-to solution for that target demographic. And that demographic that I'm choosing initially are YouTubers, content creators like myself. And that's because I figure, I know the audience. I think I do. and in my mind, it would be cool to have an app. And as a content creator and entrepreneur, I think that having your own branded app in the App Store is something that you'd want. But for me, for CodeWithChris at least, it was never a priority. However, we actually do have an app in the App Store, by the way. So shout out to David Ravinsky, Chris Parker, and the team here at CodeWithChris for putting this together. We never really talked about this app or told anyone about it. And the reason for that was at that time, we were still working on the Swift UI 14-Day Beginner Challenge. And I wanted to wait to incorporate those lessons into the app instead of the UI kit lessons that it's now using. And so I wanted it to display those Swift UI lessons before doing a big sort of marketing publicity push. But even though I haven't told anyone about it, it's still getting like 90 downloads a month, which, is surprising to me because I thought no one would know about it. So it's coming up probably for terms like Swift programming, iOS, Xcode, CodeWithChris. So people are finding it still through App Store search. So I just imagine like if I were to put, a notice everywhere that we have a mobile app and you can download it and use it, that, how much more exposure we could get with this. So that's the idea initially, to allow YouTube creators to easily have their own branded app. And they would be able to create an account, configure some details, upload their brand assets, and they would have their own branded app. Now, beyond just surfacing their content, we would also add additional monetization features to that app that could potentially turn that app into a revenue stream for that content creator. So while I was discussing with the team about what this app would look like, here are just some, I wouldn't even call these wireframes, but just some scribbles that I put together as we were having our meeting to discuss sort of what this would look like. So imagine maybe a fictional YouTube content creator named Carly, and she teaches yoga on YouTube. The basic app would be something like this, where it would be a collection of her best content, or maybe a learning path that you walk someone through. This basic experience might be categories of different types of poses and stretches and stuff like that. And then people could watch the content by clicking into it, and it would still be a very useful app, right? People looking for yoga or maybe searching her brand name would find this app and download it. And you can optionally have a profile screen here. And all of this would be configurable through the backend. And in addition to that, depending on how much time investment Carly wants to put into this app, there are additional monetization features that she could turn on, such as maybe a recommended gear screen. Because I think if you are a content creator or an influencer or a YouTuber or whatever, you get a lot of questions like, what gear do you use? And I think that's a very warranted question. When I explore a new topic, that's what I think about as well. What are the professionals or the people who are doing this day to day? What tools are they using, right? And you want good recommendations. So this is an opportunity for the content creator to recommend whatever equipment they might be using. And they could potentially link to places that the user can go and buy this equipment. And if those places offer, let's say, referrals or affiliate links or whatever, then that could potentially help the content creator earn more revenue for their business. Some content creators have merch, right? So this would be an opportunity to list some merch as well. And then right here, let's talk about the premium content first. This sort of goes, this is pretty easy to understand. It's basically paywalled content. So if people are, really liking your stuff here, they might consider unlocking additional lessons or additional content through one-time purchase or subscriptions or something like that. I think it'll remain to be seen what we want to allow the YouTuber to do. So you can have locked content. I think this is a pretty cool idea. Here would be personal advice or critique on certain things. So if you are, let's say, a golf teacher or athletic trainer or fitness trainer or something like that, where people can sort of be able to pay to get a critique. Maybe the user can record and upload a video or upload an image, and then the content creator can also go through the app, receive that request, review the video, and then record a critique and send it back to the user. So then it becomes like a personal connection to that influencer or that content creator, and this could be an additional source for them. And obviously, this is not super scalable for the content creator, but for maybe a smaller content creator who doesn't have a lot of established revenue sources yet, this could be a good way for them to basically monetize their expertise. Now, this is sort of the basic idea. And what we've done so far is we've reached out to a whole bunch of YouTubers to try to get their feedback and see if they'd be interested in something like this. So we have a Monday board. I want to show you here where we reached out to a variety of different YouTubers. And now you might recognize some of these names already. And special shout out to Hampton from Hybrid Calisthenics. He's killing it on YouTube, and I've been following his journey. He's a really friendly guy. These email addresses we found through the About tab, and a lot of channels list their business email there so that you can submit business inquiries. So we sent a whole bunch of emails out to a variety of YouTubers in different niches and also different sizes, because at this point we don't know which niche would respond the best, who needs something like this, and also what size of YouTuber most identifies with this sort of solution. And so that was maybe 24 hours ago. We still haven't gotten any responses yet. But seeing as how this is a time-bound case study, I think we will proceed even though we're not getting the feedback yet. However, if you were building your own product and you weren't constrained by time, then I definitely would recommend that you get the confirmation that you need before you proceed with building anything. Now, I do want to mention that it's not just me working on this, because that would never have been able to fly. I'm just so busy running Code with Chris as a business, producing content for the courses, producing content for YouTube and everything else, that it leaves very little time for me to work on projects like this. And so we do have a co-op student, an intern, who is sort of leading the charge on this. We're having discussions mostly every day, and I'm sort of strategically driving the direction of it. But in terms of the actual development and the work of it, it's going to be mostly Bowen, and he's doing a great job so far. So props to him. I want to talk a little bit about the emotional struggle that we've experienced even in the first few days, because we sort of lost our way as we were brainstorming features. As you can see here, we started talking about content aggregation, showing like social feeds and layering features on top of the normal YouTube viewing experience, like allowing users to like, subscribe, and interact with other fans, gamification of features, leaderboards, and that sort of stuff. And I started getting really discouraged because I had a really hard time seeing and visualizing why users would come back to this app, and if this really would be helpful for the YouTube content creators. The initial idea, I think it was trying to help YouTubers grow their channel, right? And it just wasn't compelling enough. But now I think we've arrived at a good place where it's not a solution for YouTubers to grow their channel. Rather, it's a solution that complements their business as an influencer or as a content creator. And one of the reasons why I went down this route is because in addition to what we've talked about so far, I feel like it's a very flexible idea. So YouTubers might not end up being the right audience for something like this. A lot of, let's say, businesses like restaurants or brick and mortar stores or e-commerce or Shopify stores, for example, might want a mobile app where people can buy stuff or order stuff. And so I think setting up this process where, this infrastructure where someone can sign up for an account, configure some stuff, and then have it, in the back-end systems, have it collect those assets and automatically generate an app bundle for them, that can sort of be applied to different target audiences. So if YouTubers might not end up being the right fit for this sort of solution, then we can look to identify another market. And furthermore, other side benefits are that, I really see this potentially being its own business, right? And I can also see clients who use this solution would want something custom. They'll request something custom and unique for sure, something that only applies to their scenario. And so that also could potentially open up consulting opportunities for Code with Chris. Now, this isn't something that we do right now, just simply because the team, we don't have enough people to support doing consulting projects. And so, but in the future, if we start getting a lot of requests from this, this spin-off business could generate, it could justify hiring people to open up a Code with Chris consulting arm, So that would be pretty cool. And one other reason for a solution like this is because I think selling to businesses might be a little easier. When I think about myself as a content creator, as an entrepreneur running a business, I don't really hesitate to invest in a tool or a service if I think that it might help grow my business or increase my revenue, because I'm thinking about it as an investment rather than a cost, right? And so I think doing B2B might be a little easier than B2C, right? Working with end consumers. And that's just what I'm thinking. So that sort of influenced going in this direction as well. All right, so that's what happened so far in days 1 to 4. To stay updated on the progress, I think at the end of each week, I'll be recording a summary like this. If you want to follow more closely and get access to the project boards and see really the day-to-day action, then that's inside CWC Plus. You can join the case study and you can sort of get the day-by-day play-by-plays and get the exact email template that we reached out with and that sort of thing. But even for YouTube, I'm going to be doing these end of week updates, giving you sort of a high level overview of everything that's happened, the progress we've made, decisions we've made and stuff like that. And also pay attention to the stories. So I haven't done a lot of stories with Code with Chris just because I haven't committed to it. To be completely honest with you, I'm nervous about them. I don't know why, but I think that stories would be a great fit for this sort of ongoing case study to show day-to-day progress. So I'll be committing to doing stories, and I'll publish the story on YouTube stories, Instagram stories, Facebook, Twitter, maybe even TikTok if any of you guys use TikTok. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys use TikTok. I haven't never been on TikTok, but I think some people are using it for educational content or journeys now. So and if I'm recording the story, I might as well just publish it there. So keep an eye out for the stories that I'll be uploading from day to day to tell you guys about the progress and what's happening each day. And then look forward to these sort of end of week videos where I give a summary of what's happened over the week. All in all, I'm really excited for this case study, and I'm fully invested in it. And I really want it to succeed by the end of 3 months. And yeah, just thank you. Thank you so much for following along and watching this video to the end. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.